NCRP Productions presents Unhallowed Metropolis, Secrets in the Sands, Episode 59. Hello and welcome back to Unhallowed Metropolis, Secrets in the Sands. This is your Game Master, Barry. I'm going to go around the room, have everyone introduce themselves. We do have Matt. He will be joining us playing Ayden, but he should be in later. He hasn't made it for the beginning. But other than that, we have...
Hi, I'm Jill, and I'm playing Raya the Mourner.
Hello, I'm Michael. I'm playing Dr. Everett Wolf, and I've consumed Ayden and stolen his power. He's mine now.
Hi, it's Sequoia, and I'm running Frankie the Undertaker.
Hey everybody, it's Pedro. I'm running Dr. Desmond Wright, having a nice little sit by a campfire.
So, before I get into talking about last session, I do want to bring light to a few things, and yeah, there's a tongue-in-cheek on that. A couple episodes ago, you guys heard for the first time the Latin words that said, "for the light." You actually had a few of the Novus Dei say that at different points. What they actually yelled was "Ada Lucem." Ada Lucem actually translates as "to the light," but it also could be translated as "for the light." And for the game, there will be some of you that will have that question mark. Does it actually mean "to the light" or "for the light"? But the way they're saying it, you do get a directive feeling that the translation fits more to "for the light." So, last session, we were inside the tomb. Raya had made the deal to get Frankie released from control of the ruby mask, and in return, you effectively gave him control of your mind. But you broke it. You were able to get the stone from Ayden, threw it back to him. He missed it, didn't know what was going on, and you told him to run, so he just ran down the hallway, or ran down the entranceway, the entrance shaft farther into the tomb. You grabbed the stone, struck the man in the ruby mask, and ran out. A fair chase began after that point, and again, another battle where the man in the ruby mask was able to take control of Frankie's mind for a second time. This time a threat was thrown out, basically letting you, Raya, know that if you don't give him the stone, that a second skin will be taken off of Frankie, which you all believe would be releasing the throat. Something that you all know is not good for many, many reasons. But at some point, you were able to make enough conversation to get him to speak to you, and what he told you is, "Follow me, I will explain why we need the stone." Because your argument was, we need the stone to free London, and then you amended it to say, to free the entire world of this plague. And he told you there's a greater need in France. So France is a country that's completely obscured in mystery. None of you really have any good ideas about what's going on there. The Penny Dreadfuls have made it a land of magic, flying gargoyles, kings of ancient Egypt there. There are so many things there. Even if you were to look at some of Billings's Penny Dreadfuls, you would find even more. Nobody really knows what's happening there. When attaches or when people are sent in there openly, they are turned away at the outer boundaries into France. Those people who go try and sneak in, British Secret Service, etc., have never come back. The few, and I mean the very few, people who have fled France and successfully made it to places where they could talk, their minds are fairly muddled. You understand that there are creatures walking the streets that no person has ever heard of. And the king on the throne has taken an Egyptian-sounding name as well. So at this point, nobody knows what's going on in France. And for all of you, when you hear it, and for Raya, you specifically who's there hearing it, this is the first time you're learning anything's going on. And what he's told you is, this is the only way to keep the second prophecy happening for when the king ascends to the throne. Now you know that there is a king on the throne, so there's got to be more to it. He showed you a couple of sheets of paper which are similar rubbings to the ones that you have, the same suggestion you guys came up with, that there is something with these stones that would stop the zombie plague. That's the way now you and this group appear to be reading it. The last one he showed you was written in both French and in Latin, and he explained to you this was the final prophecy. He told you it needs to be fixed, and we'll begin there.
So, I propose a stand down, momentarily, a ceasefire.
We have that.
I would like you to speak with me more, and my friends, some of whom read Latin. I think we can help each other.
As long as the end is the stones leave with us, I am very willing to speak with you. They
Okay.
must leave with us.
Would you be willing to take us with you? We could go to France, we could fulfill your prophecy, and then we could take the stones on to England.
I believe if you are going to make such a bold statement, I believe you need to ask each of your people if they want to do this. Stepping into France for the likes of you, especially, and he points in the general direction where Frankie was, especially that one, is a death sentence.
Okay.
So
Well-
he looks at you, he says, bring your people in.
So I'm going to put my hand up and I'm going to shout to everyone, we have a temporary truce. Come over by the fire. We need to have a talk with this gentleman here. Perhaps there's a way that we can help each other.
Am I still whammied? I was.
I thought you came out of it.
Nah, she said this one will stay here, and he pointed.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you are just coming. So the answer is yes. You are just coming out of it now. It is not painful like the last time, although you don't even remember
Do I
the
know
last
where
time.
Wolf was?
I don't think you do.
Because I'm sure I saw
But
bullets.
you can see, Dr. Wolf, through the sight that Raya's calling everyone in. Now, something else you've seen. Cal and Marood were moving around to different positions, circling the man in the ruby mask. Raya makes, and you can hear some of what she's yelling, Raya makes some yell to come in, and they slowly move in.
I'm going to kind of give them the hand signal for stand down.
You're going to stop them from coming in?
No, to...
Gotcha.
From
Okay,
attacking.
stand down from attacking.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing that Wolf's going to get to see that the rest of you aren't, and you'll hear Raya a second time holler out, Frankie, come in, come in. What you're going to see is the 3 Bedouins that came with you and the 4 Novus Dei are still looking odd, kind of standing as and watching as Marood and Cal walk around the edges of the camp. At some point when you'll hear the deeper voice speak, the 4 Novus Dei take their hands away from their swords, which are already sheathed. I was going to say sheathe their swords, but they're already in, and walk back. At which point the Bedouins kind of look at each other, and one of them hollers something in Egyptian at one of the ones that's walking, the Novus Dei that's walking in, and he turns and says something, and Ra, for the first time, puts his sword away and also comes in.
When they sheath their weapons, I will sheath mine too.
Okay? So everybody is in. Dr. Wolf, you'll see that they are sitting around this fire. A couple of the Novus Dei have used their small, short swords to fling the fire closer so that it's not a spread fire but a single glowing light. Mm-hmm. And they appear to be looking at paper. Something in their hands. You don't know it's paper. It could be papyrus, but you know what I'm saying.
I think Wolf's actually not going to go down.
Okay.
He is going to keep his sight up here in case something goes awry. Keep an eye out on things.
Okay.
Probably better to some degree.
So Dr. Wright, back at camp. It's been 25, 30 minutes since the group left. You heard a couple of gunshots, not much else, and nothing else has happened other than it's gotten darker and it's gotten colder. It's been enough episodes. Do we have a fire at your camp? I don't think so. Do we?
We had started a fire.
You guys are keeping that fire going. It is you, it is Billings, and it is Zosser who you've helped move close to the fire so that he can get some warmth from it. If I remember correctly, you have all of the camels that you have at your camp. Do you have any of the horses there? I don't believe so. Do you?
Well, unless they released them, we should have
There
at
was
least
those two that they rode
The
in
two
on.
horses are still there as well. Okay. I'm just making sure, because again, it's been a few episodes. With you and Billings there, what are you feeling like you were doing?
Honestly, it's probably pretty boring, and that's the way I'm happy about it.
Okay.
I'd be sitting here smoking on my tobacco this time.
Uh-huh.
And also just kind of like observing Billings, just kind of looking and paying attention because I know what he is.
So he gives off all of the classic looks for a person. If he is a mercurial, which you very much believe he is, in fact, at this point, I don't think you would question yourself, is he? He's an exceptional one. Now, you know they are not long-lived, but who knows how this one was created? You're not certain what's happening with this one. He seemed to be, when he's directed, seems to be very cognizant, very capable of straight-line thought.
And so I think right now what I would do is I put away the book that I was reading and I turned to Billings. I think, Billings, my boy, I was wondering if we could have a conversation or restart the conversation we had before.
But of course, let me put away, as he folds up the dreadfully he was holding and reading, and he sets it back in the pack, and he says, drags his pack closer, and he says, yes, Dr. Wright, what were you wondering?
Well, you remember that time way back, the first Zeppelin trip we took, the one that went a little awry. We were able to make it back nice and safe.
I do. It was a difficult trip. We had the fire, we had the crash, moving through those towns, moving up the river. I remember a good portion.
Yes, well, we had started before the crash happened, a conversation about my shares within the venture.
Oh my god.
Of the Zeppelin. We had discussed it, with Grayling. I know you had discussed his portion, but we had discussed my portion as well. I had given you a sum as well after the trip, but I had never gotten my, my written shares.
Doctor, I apologize. I know you had said this to me a little while ago, and I have racked my brains. I did not collect any money from Grayling until long afterwards, and most of the money that I did accept from him was more in writs than in cash. You're saying you gave me cash?
Yes, my boy. It was a considerable sum.
Upon the trip? Upon the Zeppelin trip?
It was when we had gotten back, because we were talking about it on the trip, and we got back, and then I wanted to make sure to secure my shares, because I know this is going to be such a successful venture. I believe
so too.
And I know, 20% is a good portion of a company, and I just want to make sure that we get that down, because this trip has just been telling that this is going to be great, my boy.
So you can see that he is kind of dazes out a bit. And when he comes back in, maybe a minute later, he says, I apologize. My mind is not what it was before, and there being so many things that I need to work through and think about.
Of course.
It's good that you remembered. I'm certain that Mei Ling will be able to deal with it. All of the shares were set from her. She is... Not many people know this about her. In addition to her galvanics training, she is my lawyer, my esquire. She's the one who set up all the shares, so if I've forgotten, and I very much apologize that I have, she will most assuredly have all of that back in the safe? Because we would have signed at my house, yes?
Yes.
Perfect. Then with all confidence, be certain that it's there.
Perfect. Mind you, I know you have your journal as well. I would jot it down just to make sure you don't forget, my boy. I know well, with age comes forgetfulness.
Well, yes, but the journal. I certainly, I'll, and he while he's doing this, he will pull the journal out and he'll write it down. Now, if you're watching him, what he writes down is, "Ask Mei Ling about Dr. Wright's shares?" ?
And I'll take a moment and just take a puff out of my pipe. I'll say, "My boy, you keep referencing Mei Ling when you get back."
Yes. Well, of course. Well, she takes care of all of the business. I'm just the beautiful face.
Yes. Well, that's gonna be a little hard. I thought. Don't you remember what happened?
Well, no. As I admitted to you, I don't remember you coming to the house. So, no, I
to Mei Ling, my boy.
How do you mean?
Well, she's no longer with us.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, she's dead. I understood that.
Then how will she help us when we return?
Well, and you can see his eyes kind of glaze for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And when they come back, he says, "Well, she'll be the one to open the safe, to read the papers, to make sure your shares are there. I mean, if it was paid, she would have taken it, and they would be in the safe. So she would be the one to do that."
You know what, my boy? You're right. I apologize. Let's just say this: when we go, I'll be sure to be with you. We'll make it nice and easy, if that is all right.
Yes. Well, of course. I mean, business is business.
Yes, perfect. And then I'll just cross my legs the other way and go back. Do you have a pipe of your own?
I do carry one, as long as Mei Ling is not at sight, which she appears not to be.
I don't think she'll mind, my boy, and I'll wink at him.
And he digs into his pack, and what he brings out is an ivory carved pipe.
I'll take some tobacco for him if he doesn't have any.
No. I mean, you offered.
Yep. So I'll take them for him, and I'll pull out a little flask, and this is my flask with some nicer whiskey. It's small, with just like a hint of something to make it give you, not enough to really do anything, but just to give you a nice little feeling.
So you got to pick me up and to draw me down.
Yeah, it like evened out. I call it my
roller coaster.
Yeah. I call it the London coast because it can be rough, but so, and I'll pour him a drink and we'll just sit here as there's gunfire going on, and I'm thinking, I'm sure that'll be all right.
All right, so back at camp. So Frankie, you have come and sat down as well. So Raya, you will know that Ayden is not here yet. You know where Ayden went. You haven't seen him come out yet. I'm not sure how important that's going to be to you.
That is important. I'm going to, when Cal and Marood come over, I'm going to ask one of them if they would be willing to go down into the tomb and fetch Master Ayden. I think we all need to hear this.
So they look at each other, and Cal nods, and Cal says, I will do it. And grabs one of the brands from the fire, lifts it, and walks to the tomb.
Okay.
So Cal disappears. I don't know what you guys are doing if you're waiting at this point.
Where is Wolf?
Marood would tell you, the doctor is up on the hillside.
Did you just wave?
He should be somewhere here. Gives you a brand.
In that direction, I'm going to wave for Wolf. I assume that he has his sight.
You're going to have to assume that. So you will see Raya waving you in. And you did see Marood point at you. Or you're very close to your general direction.
There's a snitch about.
Bloody fucking idiots. And this is actually probably like, there's a moment where it's just like, bloody fucking idiots. As he slings the gun up and he slings the gun over his shoulder, and for a moment there's a he steps forward and there's a crunching sound under his foot as he looks down, and he stepped on one of the combat syringes. He had them all like lined up. He goes down and grabs at least the last one, and he almost doesn't realize he's doing it. Is just surreptitiously, the left hand, almost with a life of its own, like sort of slips it under a sleeve as he walks his way down.
Okay.
So, the first thing I'm going to tell him is, you have to understand, I can't just give you the stone.
You need to understand that the stone was taken from us. And he looks directly at Marud. You and your companion who goes to get the other one took it from us. Yes? And Marud looks at you and then looks at him and says, yes.
We have come too far. We have lost too many. People are dying in London.
People are dying in France.
I personally have dedicated my life to fighting animates and killing animates. I don't know if in France you have people
Mourners?
like me.
There are similars.
So you know what I am. You know what we do. We were tasked to come here to Egypt to find this object. We found a stone tablet in a church that we have a rubbing very similar to yours.
Do you have it with you?
We don't have it on us. One of the people back in our camp has it.
It would be very good to go get the rubbings. Maybe between the groupings of them, we may be able to successfully figure out what it does.
Okay. We have people in our group that, we may be able to help each other. We have physicians, we have an Egyptologist, we have...
So, the one in the
People
ruby
with-
mask, when you say physicians, looks around close to where you guys are. There are dead people. And he says, I don't think the physicians will help at this point.
Are
Okay.
any of them left-handed?
Are any of the individuals sitting? You think the way one of the swordsmen is sitting, yes.
Can we see any of their skin?
Eyes, yes, on all of them.
And
There are
Frankie's
definitely...
he's looking at eyelids if he can see him. He's looking for any kind of skin.
So yes, I mean, again, the eyes you can see skin. Are you looking for his skin color? What are you...
He's looking for, like, warts, blemishes, strange scars.
Give me a wits perception roll.
I know that you've seen into,
6?
6.
I know that you've seen into my friend's mind here. I know that you know what he is.
Well, what? Seen into my mind?
He doesn't say anything, so that was it. He says, I do.
Frankie's gonna cross himself visibly.
So, let's start off as a friendly gesture. What should I call you? What is your name?
Nice.
You may call me Malcolm.
Malcolm? Well, Malcolm, my name is Raya.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Raya.
Okay.
Who went to go find Ayden?
Calvin.
Cal did.
Okay, so I would have sat by Marud. I'm gonna lean over. Are we actually making a deal with witches right now?
I am absolutely uncertain what's going on at this point. Raya just called us all in. And what he'll say to you is, Raya, are you sending somebody back to your camp for the rubbings? Again, that would benefit all of us greatly.
This is about the time wolves finally come down the hill at this point.
How
It's getting to the light.
how far back to camp?
You're asking the game master?
Yeah.
It's a reasonable walk, 15 minutes or so, but on horseback, it's maybe 3 or 4 minutes.
Can Frankie ride well enough to...
He's never ridden a horse before.
Okay.
You've ridden on plenty.
I look to Marud and I say, can you ride?
Of course.
Can you ride back to camp and get Dr. Wright? Make sure he has the rubbings on him?
What of the other two? You can see he's not trying to give any information.
Nobody pointed
The other
me
two,
out.
if you don't remember, are Billings and the injured Zosser.
Our,
Okay.
what's the word? Invalids?
Just bring Wright for now.
Very good. And he goes and walks over, ignores the black, grabs the brown that you were on, gets up and rides. So right in a few minutes, you're going to hear hoofbeats coming down on you. A single.
So I've had it there. I've had my gun in my hand across my lap, and so I just kind of like point it in that direction and just, wait to see who's coming.
So as he comes into the point where he can see you, you may not be able to see him as well, and Marud will holler out, "Doctor, I need you to get the rubbings out and mount up with me." And as he comes in, you can see it's Marud.
Say, what's going on, Marud?
I'm uncertain, Doctor. We are apparently sharing information with Novus Dei. It was at Raya's command.
Then I'll smile and I'll say, Marud, are you to tell me that after all that gunfire I heard, and what I assume was you all killing the Novus Dei...
And you can see that Marud has some new cuts.
It'll say, you killing the Novus Dei, that they now want to work with us. We killed a whole bunch of them back there. Raya knows that, right?
I am as concerned as you are, Doctor. I don't know what to say.
How many of them are left there, Marud?
There are 5.
5, okay. Did any of ours get injured?
Everybody is well worked.
Okay.
Bringing your bag, yes, would be a good idea as well.
But see, here's the problem, Marud. That, my friend, sounds like a shit show that I don't want to be a part of. But I am not an unreasonable man, and I'll whip open the journal, and I'll open up the rubbings, and I'll say,
Dude, what an ass.
Here you go. And I'll walk over, and I'll say,
from you. So you will stay here and guard Saucer and Billings?
I'll make sure they're okay. Give my best to Raya in her ventures, and
what an asshole.
let me know how it goes. If it's bad and you're running back, just fire off 2 rounds in the sky to let me know that it's bad, and I'll get them ready.
Very good, Doctor.
Thank you, Marud. Have a safe ride.
And he rides out.
Okay.
So Cal and Ayden come back into the camp, or come up to the fire. Ayden, Cal has told you on the way in that Raya has asked for you to return with it. Sarcophagus, let me get back to that.
Yeah,
As you're starting to work on trying to move the sarcophagus top, it doesn't move easily. It looks like it has solidified for some reason, either with time or sand. As you're working at it with the crowbar, Cal comes in, says, Ayden, you need to come with me now. Raya's asking everyone to come back into the middle of camp. And I think your being there is going to be very important. This is not going anywhere. Yeah, well, before you get to do that, go ahead and roll a obsession roll.
9.
Are you happy with 9?
Yeah, that's basically.
Okay, so Cal's going to get into a yelling match with you, basically saying, Ayden, look, now, I don't want to leave Raya up there on her own. You're one of the few that I think has an ability to be able to talk us out of this. You really need to come. You really need to come now. Why are you trying to break into a sarcophagus? Go ahead and give me another roll.
Just tell them you couldn't find me.
That's the thing.
That's one better. 10.
So, Cal says to you, look, they're not going to believe that. It's a single tunnel, a single line back to the back here.
Just tell them I vanished. Who knows?
Cal looks directly at you. You think Cal maybe was looking at the other side, but Cal, in that moving candlelight and the small brand that he has, looks at you and goes, it's Raya. Roll one more time.
11.
Slowly but surely.
Look, you can tell him I died. There was a trap down here. Look at the bodies.
So at this point now, Cal says, can we make a deal? If we open the sarcophagus, if we get it open, then you'll come with me?
Sure.
All right. So go ahead and give me a vitality roll.
Got his crowbar.
Can I add... Or wait, I don't have athletics.
You're going to be adding vitality.
Yeah, so
But
14.
taking away any of the minuses you normally have, of course.
Okay. Yeah, so that'd be 14.
So the two of you start realizing that there is a scene that you can start working at. You are working with the crowbar. Cal is using some kind of a sword, you're assuming. You're not sure where Cal got this sword. You haven't seen it before. And Cal is working as well. As you guys continue to move around, for you back in the camp, Cal, going to get Ayden, is gone for over 10 minutes. It's that time when Dr. Wolf comes into the camp. When you come into camp, the Ruby Mask will look at you and in a very straight male voice says, I believe this is yours. And tosses, not throws, tosses to you one of your darts. It's in good shape. It has not broken. Of course, all of the syringe plunger has gone out and emptied all the contents.
I was just rolling a coordination to see how well he caught, and apparently very well. 9 plus 7, 16 plus
16 is
3,
a beautiful
19.
catch. 19 is an even better catch.
Yep, just...
So
I was waiting for you to fumble
you
that.
guys will hear the hoofbeats for Marood, and back inside. So you guys, Ayden and Cal, have successfully cleared all of the stone connections that you believe are stopping this from happening. Cal says, how would you normally take this off? And are you certain you want it open? There are so many curses. You know the curses. There are so many curses. Why, since you've already broken, would you enter it?
Well, I mean, just how hard it is to get open. There must be something good inside.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't. Very good. And the two of you.
Thank you, little voice in my head.
You'll use the crowbar. Cal will use the sword. Give me a roll.
Why do I imagine you like turned to the other side and said thank you?
Jiminy Cricket.
You have new rerolls
There's
now.
chips.
That's true. I do, huh? I forgot about that. So let me. Damn.
Woo!
Okay, so that's gonna be 21.
Okay, so Cal, getting good purchase, ends up breaking the sword.
Okay.
You, on the other hand, get a hook in it and are able to crack it to where a single inch opens up in it. It moves that far, and then you're solidly stuck. Potentially, it was part of Cal's doing it. You'll hear the tip of the sword that was used as lever thump inside, and there is black dust that billows out and into the air around you guys. Cal backs up.
The fucking scarabs again.
Is black dust extremely rare? I mean, is most dust like a brown color?
Yeah, I don't know about rarity.
That's the wrong
not
word.
normal.
Is it concerning, is what I mean to say.
I would think Ayden would be concerned, but go ahead and make that roll because I don't know that Ayden's going to care.
I feel like black anything coming out of sarcophagus is a bad
I would
sign.
think anything coming out of the sarcophagus.
Yeah, I mean, like regular old brown dust? Poof, fine.
So that's 11. 13.
Okay, so Ayden, you're still focused. You do notice the cow moved away, but for you, you have it open. You want more.
Tie a little piece of fabric around my face, so
Okay.
cover my lower half of my face.
And you're going to go and push again?
Yeah.
Okay, so on this roll, I'm going to have you add 1. You got the hardest part done. Go ahead and give me a roll.
Jeez.
There's
Spend
chips.
another
I want to
one.
see what's in this damn
I
sarcophagus.
I
also-
know. Don't.
You might not make it, but I want to see what's in it.
Don't
You should-
rush the man.
You should roll with these dice,
Okay, fine.
and you should spend a chip. If
I did
He has 3 more personal rerolls for the night.
Burn everything.
Oh yeah.
The man's obsessed.
Nope. That's how I didn't do it. That's an 11.
Again.
Okay.
Do it. Do it. I'll give you rerolls.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 15.
Okay, so you strain on it a little bit more. You get it to move perceptively, That's it. I mean, wouldn't even call it an inch. And at this point, you are in full strain, full push. Maybe if another person was helping you, maybe you could move it. But alone, you're not going to move it. However, now I want you to make a vitality roll for a different... vitality roll for a different reason.
Uh-oh.
Does it smell like dead in here?
Become part of the spore hive.
That would be 17.
Okay, with a 17, there is a wrong smell to you. So there are spores that you have smelled inside a number of these caves, tombs, and that, and you've always left from that smell. You've always been warned about it. Your choice how to react to it. You clearly smell it, and normally this would suggest serious danger. It's your choice to roll again or just leave. I feel like your obsession will keep you there.
What happens if I take the 5th point in obsession?
If you take the 5th point in obsession, you lose the character at some point.
I mean, you've got 2 more rolls. You've only re-rolled.
No, I used that one for
So
a reroll.
I would
and that one
start
for a
by
reroll.
re-rolling the obsession.
I haven't rolled the obsession yet.
I would start by re-rolling that first. Can you break the obsession to leave? Cal will say to you, Ayden,
Got this crazy look in my eyes.
right? Ayden, this is not good.
You're not going anywhere.
Few people truly get to
Cal says
moments
use
of greatness.
Few
people-
Chip.
Become one with the
people-
myconoid network that's about to infest your brain.
I don't want to burn the points for everybody else, though.
You
Doesn't
should
matter.
spend a chip.
That's what they're there for.
We're
Okay,
gonna
fine.
get more.
Fine, I'll use one. I mean, it would be cool to go out with on 5.
He'll have understood.
Okay, so that's this is to open it. It's 19.
So with a 19, your better judgment clicks. If you were to leave, if they are spores, they will eventually tromp to the ground. You can come in better wrapped, potentially bring somebody stronger in here that is not your mainstay. You can potentially bring possibly even 2 and maybe get the sarcophagus open then. But better judgment, not that you necessarily want to leave, and most certainly you're not giving up on it, but Cal's speaking sense.
Okay.
Frankie and Marud are pretty strong. They could probably help you open it.
All right.
Okay, so then you guys will head out. It's about 15 total minutes, and Cal comes up with Ayden. Ayden, I don't know that you would have taken the thing off your face.
Nope.
I don't think you would have even remembered it.
Nope. And my
So
eyes
as Ayden
look
comes
crazy.
in, you'll notice that Ayden seems to be distracted and has something wrapped around his face. Cal just kind of looks beaten. Not physically, but just kind of like, that was a lot of work.
What do you want so close to my greatest discovery?
All right. This is Malcolm.
I don't care.
And they need the stones just as much as we do.
We need the stones more than you do.
There's a prophecy. I'll let you tell everyone about it.
So he explains the prophecy to you. Basically, the king ascended already to the throne. If the king ascends, that is the end of the world. But first will fall France. And you can read, now you speak both French and Latin.
Right.
I would assume that your character would read both. So you can read what he has written down. Most of it is random scrawling. Where it goes to Latin, it'll be one passage. Where it goes to French, it'll be another passage. It looks like what they've done is whoever's written this has picked a number of passages from different things. You don't know what they're from, where they got them. But the collection of them together portends great evil. It does not identify France. It identifies the king who returns. It identifies the king who will close the light. And it talks about monsters walking the streets, or walking the earth. Monsters walking the earth, I think is what I would say. And it talks about an end of times. It has that standard apocalyptic end of the world type sound to the pieces that are here. But again, it doesn't look like this is all taken from a single text in any way. It looks like a number of pieces laid out here.
So I'll just look at it and say, like, just kind of toss it and just go, what ramblings of a madman. What do you need me out here? I gotta get back.
While he was doing that, if you brought the Maroods brought the rubbings and you didn't stop him, he's reading the rubbings.
Okay. Yeah.
As he's saying that to you, Malcolm says, we need to find the dais. It's inside. You two, go in there and get it. And he says to two of the Novus Dei, who look at each other and don't seem to be in a rush, but walk towards the tomb.
Ayden, why don't you go with them?
Fine. I'll turn around and follow him.
Okay.
What do you think this device does?
Wolf's
How do
gonna
you think
pick up
it's...
the book that was thrown down, and he's gonna read.
It's a sheaf of paper.
Okay, he's gonna pick up the sheaf since he threw it down, because now he's gonna read the Latin bits,
Okay.
just so he can
So
get.
the Latin is fairly frightening. It's prophetic in the way it's written. You notice that it is not connective, so you do not believe that this was all written as one thing. Maybe it was taken from a number of distant sources. But it portends great evil, and it portends an end to something.
I have cryptology. Would it be a fair assessment that maybe there's, aside from the prophecy, maybe there's like because it's clear, as you were saying to him, it's clear it's several different parts put together. Maybe there's something else to this, more than just the, let's take this passage here and stuff, especially if they're piecing it together from multiple parts. Maybe there's a code of some kind. I'm just hazarding a guess here.
I would say an analytical mind would have the ability to make a cryptography roll with intelligence or intellect.
23.
Okay, so you are looking for a secondary message in this. You're reasonably certain there is one, I'm assuming. That's why you're looking to begin with.
Yeah.
So you are able to find a collection of numbers. 3, 5, and 7 always stand out as a collection of numbers, as does the number 15. A combination of 3, 5, and 7, also the multiplication of 3 times 5. Using sacred geometry as a way to be a cipher, by the way, for the rest of you, Wolf is kind of going crazy here.
Yeah.
You are able to come up with a single word that, for you, fits perdition.
Ooh.
Interesting. He actually, he mutters this, and not, exceptionally loud, but if someone catches it, he just goes, perdition.
So anyone looking at Wolf, since no one else is here, you probably would be, is going to hear that, except for you talking to Ayden, who... Nope, you just sent Ayden off.
Yep.
All right.
Frankie's gonna stand up and go after where Ayden went.
Okay.
Wolf's rubbing his head here, too. But there's also something
else. The Novus
else.
Dei leader, Malcolm, is just watching him.
There's
intently.
There's a moment as he's rubbing his head here, as he goes... And here's also another thing. This is for me. 3, 5, and 7 has been appearing... I feel like 3, 5, and 7 have shown up in this game previously. Maybe it's just me and my imagination, but I feel like there's been a few sessions where these numbers specifically have shown up, and I'm just trying to remember where.
Listen to the voices.
And I think that can be reflected with Wolf. It's just like it feels like there's something missing.
So as you just sit there and ponder at it, Malcolm leans forward and points at one of the Latin phrases, and he says to you, if this phrase were to be, and he tells you a different phrase, which you could see if somebody translated where those words might change. He says to you, I think you'll have a different word. So you make your word,
the adjustments.
You spend for a few moments, and the word purgatory comes up instead of perdition.
Purgatory. I'm not a terribly religious man, but I do know that oftentimes perdition and purgatory can be seen similar. A chance for redemption in a way, or a punishment.
you understand that they mostly represent a weight.
Very much so.
While you guys are pondering that, Ayden, you and the two head down in. You got your candle again. As you go inside and make your way into the room, it's the same tight squeeze, and the two of them are looking around. One of them in, again, not great English, definitely French accented, will ask, can you shine the light here? Another will ask, can you shine the light there? What are you doing with this? Are you just beelining it back to the
I'm just beelining it back to the...
So, do you, when they ask you to shine it here, do you do it?
Nope.
No?
I will run to catch up.
Okay. So, at the point when you start working your way into this flickering light, one of them comes over to you and says, the light. We need the light. And he keeps looking at you like, are you not getting it? What are you doing?
No, we must open the casket.
And the two of them look at each other, and at this is the point when you will see one of the two of them is grabbing at Ayden.
Don't know if I like Ayden that much.
That's fair.
Shit.
So go ahead and give me a coordination roll.
But I dislike witches more than I don't know if I like Ayden. I'm gonna get in the middle of it
Ayden
too.
is a witch?
He might be a witch.
15.
Oh,
But
sure,
he's
now
a
you start
good
rolling
witch.
decent. So he's grabbing at the candle, and you pull the candle back, and now Frankie is there.
I'm just gonna bark, hey. Not literally.
The two of them look at you. Ayden, go ahead and give me an obsession roll.
Obsession by Ayden.
I hate that.
I got a 3.
Okay, Ayden does not look at you when you say hey. And what are you doing?
I'm booking it down there to
Oh
the
no, you're there.
sarcophagus.
You are at the sarcophagus. You guys are already in the room. They've been trying to get you to shine the light as you're fucking with the sarcophagus.
Trying to crack
So
it
you're
open.
gonna start working on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a vitality roll, because again you're using your body weight plus the crowbar with the candle. Now is the candle in your hand, or are you gonna two-hand the crowbar?
I figure I put the candle down. And
Okay. So what you're going to watch is he puts the candle down, and one of them just grabs the candle off the... Go ahead and make your roll. Grabs the candle off the sarcophagus, and Ayden looks like he's going to throw the crowbar to open the sarcophagus. Go ahead and give me a wits perception roll at -2, in addition to any other minuses that you've got.
There is a chip if you want to roll that.
You should spend the chip.
But you think the light will protect you?
13.
Okay. So with a 13, as Ayden cranks, and you see that thing, go ahead and do your reroll. As you see Ayden crank on the crowbar, it looks like there is stuff coming out of the sarcophagus. You could call it dust or spores, you're not certain what, but there is definitely a black tint that you get the barest hint as the candle turns away from it.
16.
So with a 16, you are still hitting that same point. You rank back and you shove forward. You rank back and you shove forward, and you can see in the periodically flickering light that the crowbar is starting to cut a little bit into that stone. And when I say a little, we're talking, veneer thin, but you can see that you are dusting it. The other thing that you will see is there's more dust billowing up out of the sarcophagus as the crowbar is hitting the bottom and scraping against something to get that forward momentum.
Clearly,
For you, Frankie,
there must be something important in there.
for you, Frankie, you'll see what they're doing is they are moving to every corner, and they are looking for something. Actually, you know what they're looking for. They're looking for the Dayas in the picture, and as they move around, they're both frustrated and they're speaking at each other in French. And then finally the one says in English, looks at you and says, "Do you see the Dayas?" And hands you the candle.
I'm gonna be looking for something that looks like the one that had the little baby in it.
Oh, so you're talking about what you're looking for is... Oh, wait, the cage or the
flat thing that the baby was
stone?
in.
Put 2 chips to the middle.
Good job.
Nice.
Good job,
So,
Sequoia.
Frankie, you immediately, if you go down that road, you immediately realize the top of the sarcophagus is a perfect match in thickness.
I'm gonna say it's that.
And they both look at where you're pointing and says, the top? It looks nothing like it does in the picture.
I've encountered a dais before that had something, I don't know what you guys call them, but we call them a zombie lord, but it was a infant within the dais. Looks just like that.
The two of them look very spooked. And the one that spoke to you first says, you are saying there is a child in the lid?
I'm gonna go and put my ear on it. Do I hear any scrabbling?
No. Well, yes. But you can
Aside
directly
from-
attribute it to him ranking on the crowbar.
I'm gonna knock on it. Does it sound hollow?
It does not. It does not give you the feeling that it's hollow.
I don't think this one does. But,
So-
and I'm gonna, like, put in the candle. Can I see in this crack?
Oh, God. All right, so you're going to lean over the crack. Now, before you do that, you will notice that Ayden has had something wrapped around his face when he came out and when he's gone back in.
I've had my mask on.
Okay, very good.
Your
So
desert
you'll-
mask?
No, I've been wearing the leather one the whole time.
leather one?
So, are you going to put the candle in with your hand, or are you going to hold it
No.
over? All right, that's all I was asking. So, what you can see in there is this kind of black, kind of, I don't know, spores is what it would be, but this stringy lines of black that are billowing out. And as you look in there, what you can see is he is tearing apart some portion of the mummy. You can't quite see what, but it's rounded, and you know enough about anatomy to believe that he is tearing apart the skull of the mummy.
I'm gonna grab the crowbar and pull it away from you.
Okay, vitality roll for each of you. With minuses, with your standard
We gotta
bonuses.
get this open because that's
I'm gonna use one of my rerolls.
God, Ayden's got obsession strength right now.
I got an 18.
All right, so the crowbar is taken from you. How do you want to react to that?
Poorly.
Poorly. Yeah, that sums it up. I'm gonna start screaming at Frankie and be like, "You fool! What we need is inside. Help me lift this, you short, towering oaf!"
And you've grabbed the crowbar and done what with it?
I'm just holding it.
Okay.
You're damaging the mummy.
At this point, I don't care. I want what the mummy has, whatever it is they've hidden inside there. The power.
The two Novus Dei are looking directly at you. And you can clearly see Dr. Doom-like. They have a complete mask of metal.
Everybody we meet just ends in tragedy.
Yep.
You meet up with us, this guy's like, what the fuck have I done? I love it.
What does the dais do?
They look at each other. The one who's speaking says, I don't know. Malcolm believes that it will potentially dethrone Le Roi d'Or, the Golden King, who presently sits the throne in France, controls the people, controls the... And he thinks about the word and says, magique. Magique of France.
And the stones have something to do with this?
I don't know.
I'm just gonna scream, "Yes! True power!" And I'm just gonna try to rip this thing open.
All right, so you're scrabbling, trying to pull it in every direction. It won't go anywhere, but it's gonna. You guys are gonna get to see him basically pull. I mean, he's starting to sweat as he ranks on it.
So I've crawled through some pretty gross, like, swamps and under houses. Have I ever seen anything like this black stuff?
Mold.
Mold. That's the black one in it.
Something took you over there for a second.
I got possessed. Okay.
Black long, ain't it? That was fantastic. Can I give Frankie a chip for that?
For shitty. Alright, so I'm gonna stop and think about this. And I'm just gonna stand still and think about this. So the last time we encountered something like this, we really messed up a whole town.
Yes.
I'm thinking maybe this mummy's not alive, though. It's not moving. Because the little thing was moving, which was very upsetting. I do want to see what's in here.
The chances are very slim that the thing inside the coffin will come to life, assuming that what he has been destroying as he's been jamming the crowbar in there is the skull. The one thing that you have seen across the board is when the brain capacity is gone, nothing moves.
I want to look at the top of the sarcophagus. Is the whole thing matching the dais top? Or just like a section of it?
So, as a whole, it has similar, and I'm assuming you're grabbing the candle again.
I think I still have it.
All right, I'll go with that. It has the same dimensions as far as thickness, the way the carving, the way the stone itself is carved, the general color of the stone. Now that you're getting a chance to look at it, there are, because he's ranking on it and starting to rub and move things, you're also getting a chance to see there are markings on the top. You think those markings are similar or possibly identical to those that you saw on the, I believe it was the bottom of the piece that was in. Now remember, what you guys had was the
top of like a podium, right?
Yeah, it was a podium top. It was not a dais. There was the stone that was inside of the speaking podium in the Church of the Sepulchre.
And so this looks like the thing we took out of the top.
Yes, okay. It just looks bigger.
I don't know that I would remember this, but before, was that one, did it feel hollow before we realized?
You guys didn't know.
We didn't know. Ugh.
No, if I remember correctly, there was a surprise when Dr. Wright figured out that he could pull it apart by creating some kind of a unguent that would remove the things that held it together.
Which was on the bottom of it.
Yep.
So we need to look at the bottom of it. I'm going to say, okay, we need to flip it over, the lid.
So the two of them are looking at you. What?
Previously, there was...
I want to say K, but they're not Mexican. They're not Spanish. I don't know what French... What?
I think it is like... It's like something like that, like C-O...
I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, but you'll hear that.
Yeah. Previously, on the other artifact I encountered, there was an opening on the back that hosted the zombie lord infant. It's possible this also contains an entity.
So they look at each other, and then they look at you, and the one who's been speaking to you says, "Should we not bring Master Malcolm in?"
He's your boss.
I believe we should.
Okay.
The one who's talking starts worming his way out and comes running out. So for the group of you up at the fire, up at the talking area, where it's been fairly quiet. I mean, I don't know that there's everybody glaring at each other or anything, but
there's actually probably a conversation going from Wolf and Malcolm, actually, because they're talking about perdition and purgatory. It's like, the question then comes down to which of these translations you believe that this is meaning. If it's perdition, it means there's no chance of escape, excising our sins. It means damnation. But if it's purgatory, this is just a chance to excise one's sins. So what are you believing this mean?
If it is perdition, it means that we can avoid it by stopping his ascension. If it's purgatory, it means to me and to my masters, it means when he ascends, he will create purgatory. Either works. Neither is a state that we wish to be in. If you had been in France at any time through my life, you would do anything to change it.
Malcolm, how were you set upon this quest?
Ooh, good question.
The Grand Order of Novus Dei, Novus Exercitus Dei, is set to bring about the removal of the Golden King. This is what we're here for. These, and he's pointing at the rubbings, these were found on a ship that was bound for Alexandria that came along the Mediterranean coast and got blown the wrong way and ended up the southern tip of France, of our beloved country. We were able to acquire the pages, and learned men, much more learned than I, took painstaking times to figure out what this was. We have been searching now for 4 months.
I do have a question I want to ask Ayden, but I'm not sure of the flow here.
Yep, you can talk to Ayden because there's a guy running from you guys up to get Malcolm.
Does anything on the top of this say vessel or container?
I'll read it
Okay,
because it deals with this.
absolutely. Go ahead and give me your. What have we been using? History?
Egyptology.
It doesn't have Egyptology.
Oh.
There's
Is it history? Is that what we've been
Yeah.
using? I feel like
Yeah.
it's been history. Give me your history roll. So for those around the fire, one of the men, and you can hear him because the metal is, as he runs, is not quiet. He comes up, he comes to Malcolm, he says, Lord, you're needed in the tomb. Go ahead.
12.
So with a 12, you see a number of symbols. They are worn with age. It's going to take you more time
Chip it.
to try and translate it.
Chipping it. I want to
Okay.
know answers.
You lean down and you blow across it.
14 plus int. That makes it. That's 17.
So yeah, there's a little bit of a talk here on the top. It does talk about a vessel or container, but you think it means the container for the pharaoh within. That's what you think it is. So when he comes up and asks Malcolm, Malcolm gets up, doesn't ask anything for the group around the fire, literally stops the middle of your conversation, Dr. Wolf, and walks with the man. And as the man's kind of walking quicker, they both run walk. That uncomfortable, we're in the sand, we're trying to move fast, it's ungainly, but we don't want to actually run. Are any of you guys doing anything? They're heading back towards the hole. Malcolm just literally stopped in the middle.
I'm just gonna wait for them to come back.
Okay, so Cal, Marood, the three Bedouins, Wolf.
Wolf's gonna look back down at the sheaf of paper here, and then he's gonna look at. There's only one other Novus Dei person.
There's
up
two
there.
Novus Dei.
There's two Novus Dei. Okay. There's a moment he's gonna turn to Marood and Cal and go, "We were running from them before."
Doctor, careful. And Cal's eyes will look at the two. Will move to the two.
When we get a moment, Cal, I think there's things we're going to have
Doctor,
to
maybe I will take you. You need to go to relieve yourself. Come with me. I can show you a safe place. And Cal will walk over quickly, help you up,
Yep.
and walk you away.
Yeah.
You're gonna know that that's where you guys saw the guys going to the piss tree.
Yeah.
The piss bush.
Yeah, we're going to the piss
Yay!
bush. Oh God, there's so much piss.
You won't get there.
No.
Cal's gonna stop short, but
Yeah.
it's that general direction.
It's like the Nile.
It still smells like piss, though.
It
Continue.
probably does.
Cal, what the hell is going on here?
I have no idea. We fought hard to get that stone. It appears that Raya gave the stone to him, and now he's telling us that I don't know. You started with this. We simply came along. Maroon
You
and I.
killed some of them previously. You said we had to run. You stole the stone.
Yes.
You understand more what's going on. Why? What is this? What is happening here?
Well, what is this? Did you see what he did to Frankie? Do you see what he did to Raya?
Frankie,
And Raya's chosen to do this. Who? And now Cal gets pissed and speaks quieter, but much angrier. Who leads your goddamn group? Is it Wright? Is it you? Is it Raya? It can't be Frankie.
Rude.
It's a complicated thing depending on the height of the moon
Yeah.
and the current level of
We
shenanigans.
thumb wrestle
And
every
Cal is
morning.
glaring at you
Yeah.
and appears to be sweating.
Yeah, it's like,
It's not
Yeah.
warm.
oh yeah, I know. And Wolf not thinking at the moment because he's getting angry too. He's getting angry too, and there's also the and while he's not sweating, there's this like I came along this trip as a consultant. I'm not supposed to lead this group. I thought I was supposed to be helping Billings on whatever was going on here, but this has turned into something more.
I see that as well. What do you want to do?
I
Lead, Michael.
just let. But there's a sorry. I'm you're all shattering.
If it matters for you, Maroon and I killed 7 of them.
I want to know why. Why, if it was so important to kill them for this, Why are we talking to them? Why haven't you advised us about why we need to
Because we
avoid
didn't
them?
have time. The Novus Dei track across everywhere. Anytime they're found, they are taking artifacts. They are bringing them back to France. I don't know what they're doing. If this Malcolm is to be believed, they're using them for good? I don't know. Novus Dei is bad. They are an organization of killers, brutal killers. And then Cal kills Wolf.
Kill!
Who?
Roll for hide. I'm telling you, Ed Mary.
The Bedouins or? I wish I was there.
It's just
Tell me what you want to do.
Do it, Wolf.
Matt, stop.
Where is Wright? Why isn't he here?
I don't know. I don't know why Wright isn't here. I don't know why. After Marood was sent to go get him in the rubbings, he only came back with one thing. Doctor's being the man's being stubborn. Wolf corrects himself.
How dare you!
And while you're saying this, Cal, because you're looking down but looking at him, Cal grabs his head and grabs your shoulder and obviously steadies himself, and he says, "Whoa."
And
Doctor,
Doctor mode goes in. It's like, Cal, what is it?
I'm very sorry, Doctor. I don't know what came over me. I apologize. I was out of line.
And that's the moment he goes, oh.
That's right.
And he actually takes the back of his hand, and while his own hand is like dry and stuff, it's still enough to get the, oh, Cal.
I'm sorry, Doctor. We killed Novus Dei because they have killed friends of mine. They have been the antithesis of the Explorer Society, which I am a part of. They maraud across everything. I have run into things that they've done, massacres that they've perpetrated across most of the places that I've been. Even London doesn't stand short of them. They just need to keep quieter. What do you want to do? You seem to be one of the sane guys in this group. I don't trust Malcolm. I think right now we could overpower the remainders as long as Malcolm can't get control of Frankie. But I don't believe I can stop Frankie. Do you? In your current form?
Asterisk.
If Frankie transforms, we're out of tranquilizers. And
I understand.
And Wolf looks at his own hands, these burns and everything that are on him, and goes, I think you give me too much credit for being one of the sane ones, Cal.
And Cal grabs your shoulder again and says, Doctor, I need to sit. And Cal sits down very hard, almost like
into the piss
control.
bush. There we go. I know we're not there. I'm just kidding. But anyway,
and sits down very hard.
Yeah.
If you go to grab,
I'm going with
you're
it.
able to stop.
Yeah,
him
I'm
from
laying him
collapsing
down.
in and says, what is happening? Why? Something's wrong, Doctor. Something is wrong. What is wrong? Why do I feel this way?
Cal, do you know what Dr. Wright... You remember I told you Dr. Wright injected you with hide.
Yes, I understand the premise. It's a light throat transformation. It's a short-term thing. I understand I went through it. I understand I came out the other side. That's it. It's over and done.
No, Cal. There's a side effect. Throat... it doesn't last as long, but it can be, depending on the potency of the dose, it could be a week, it could be a month, but there's a chance you could transform again.
And I would lose as much control as I lost last time, or more.
It depends on the serum. It is possible that you could maintain yourself from what from Wright was saying.
But I may not.
But you may not.
I need to be watched as well. and we'll go into the group inside. So
Yes.
inside, we have Frankie, Malcolm, the 2 Novus Dei, and Ayden, who is still ranking on the sarcophagus top after having read and gotten nowhere with the reading. So Malcolm comes in. Now you stayed, Frankie. You didn't go out to get him. So Malcolm comes in and he asks you, he says, "And you, what have you found?"
So I'm like, I've got my hand in my jacket and I'm like holding on to the cross that I have.
I like it.
And I don't meet his eyes at
Okay.
all. And I'm going to say, I don't answer to you, but I'm here to help Ayden. And
He's looking at Ayden, who's...
and I think that on the underside of the sarcophagus lid, there should be an opening.
To what?
Last time, it was an infant zombie lord.
So Malcolm says something in French, which you speak French? You do not. Okay. Says something in French, and it sounds quizzical, and says back to you, an infant that can control the animates?
I can't speak to how much control the infant had, but it certainly drew them. I don't know that a baby could think to control things.
And you believe there's one in the lid here? That's why you brought me? And he looks at the other one, and the other, the one of the 2 that went and got him, and the one says, yes, that's what he said. And so Malcolm again looks at you. You're Frankie. I believe I pulled that. You believe that the control is inside, and it is not the device, the dias, the whatever it is that we see in the pictures, that it is
well,
a child?
I don't know
You
what's
found
in
a
there.
living...
Well, no.
Let me stop. He would not say that. You found a complete child inside of a stone?
Infant, but yeah. And I don't know what's in this one.
A
But
complete infant.
yes, I think so.
It was a wrapped mummy.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
so you know.
I mean, it wasn't like
A complete
fresh.
infant. That when you say not fresh,
It was withered and desiccated. Desiccated?
desiccated is the right word. He says it was, I believe you call it husk. It was a husk.
Yeah, it was wrapped like this one is. The one inside the sarcophagus, but I don't know what's in the lid, but it matches the one that I saw previously, and that's weird.
We can find out if we get the lid off.
So Malcolm looks at you and says, "And how would we do that?" And he's looking at you, pulling and straining.
You know what? I'm going to look to see if there's some release or something.
How are you looking inside it? Inside? Are you putting your hands in, your eye to it?
I'm
Is that
gonna
what we're
first look
talking about?
on the outside around it, see
Okay.
if there's any buttons or anything. And I assume this is like the coffin that looks like a, like you see in the museum, like looks like a stylized pharaoh, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Effectively, yes.
So I'm gonna look on side on those things to see if there's anything that looks like a lock or release on the top or the sides of it.
No. As you go around it, and he's going to do the same, one of the 2 that came down with him puts his hand inside the sarcophagus. I don't know that you would see it until it's already in there. Frankie, I don't know. Would you stop somebody who is reaching in?
That's his hand.
Okay. and he reaches in.
I'm gonna have this dark thought just kind of passes my mind. I'm like, excellent, you fool. One less to deal with.
And reaches in, and he says, "I believe there's something in here." And he reaches farther, bringing his head closer to the opening. He reaches, he says, "I believe I've got it." Coughs and falls to the ground. And we'll stop right there.
Oh no!
Thank you for listening to another NCRP Productions podcast. To stay on top of everything we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook, all at NCRP Productions. You can show your support and help us continue to produce content by joining our Patreon. We offer additional podcasts like our B-sides and have GM materials, maps, and other fun things you can discover over time. You can find our podcasts on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, and many other fine podcast sites. Just look for us at NCRP Productions. We value your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to leave us feedback or comments. And if you would like to contact us directly, you can email us at ncrpproductions@gmail.com.